Hey everybody, welcome to another Snowface Reactions. I'm Griffin, that's Theta, and we're here to watch some Witch from Mercury today. We got some people with some comments, let's see what they got to say. We got Randit1188, who says, I'm glad that Ghoul's suffering actually paid off. By doing something decent, burying a dead child, something he wouldn't have done at the beginning of the show, he was able to have Seto actually talk to him. I'm glad he didn't have to have everything spelled out to him. As soon as Kanaji said that only adult Seto had been around was Donna Fold. He instantly connected the dots and immediately told Mjorn. A lesser show would have had Kanaji go over point by point, and neither would have told Mjorn. Bonus points for Shadiq getting blindsided by a kid from Earth for a second time.
I don't know that original Ghoul would not have buried a dead child. You have to remember that there's varying levels of being a horrible person. Beating a woman with a stick, horrible person. Same guy might still bury a dead child. So,
I think it would be fair to say season 1 Ghoul was even more egocentric.
right. I'm saying he wasn't that character in like an aristocratic story who would just step over a starving person on the street. He was haughty and all full of himself. But at the same time, remember in the scene after he gets beaten by Suletta, not the please marry me scene, that was just weird, how he still goes into a classroom full of people and apologizes to her in front of them all. He still does the right thing sometimes. Like I said, it's a varying level of being a horrible person. Being
He's
a man...
haughty, it's about him, he would
I
put himself above things, but it's a good representation of his growth.
Right. I just, like I said, I don't think they're aligned. Right?
Yeah.
That in characters are... good characters, rather, are full of depth. You can be a horrible person while not being horrible to everything. I think it's the kind of thing you typically get shown, like, oh man, he's such an evil man, but he loves his dog. You know, he's not horrible to everything, and that's how that's sometimes denoted.
Horrible people can be nice to some people, but
yeah.
The second part of this, of course, is everybody figuring out the mystery and being smart, which, yeah, no, that actually went great. I'm very happy with that. There is an opposite side to nobody really knowing what to do, spending forever figuring it out, and never telling anyone. And that's all of them reading the script and knowing, like, way too easily or way too soon. It is actually difficult to represent someone being smart without them being prescient as the author.
Look, if this was a tabletop game and this was the mystery thing, like we're talking to the guy, all that shit would have been said, and I would still not have figured it out. Like, true, right. I know these things. These are things I know. Okay, that's his real name. And I just wouldn't have put together, these people gave me this information, these people gave me this information, and the connection is the fact that no two people between have ever connected those things together.
If it were a tabletop game, after Ghoul had buried a child, he would have pulled a gun on this child and gone, now tell me everything you know.
I couldn't have, remember, they all left. He buried that kid after everyone else evacuated for the Dawn of Fold people.
Let's see. Our next comment, though, is Li Hongjun. Okay, so I'm wrong about Prospera not ruining anything for Mjorn. I thought that she would not do that because she wanted to finish Quiet Zero. But now that she did that, does that mean that she did not actually care about who became the president to continue Quiet Zero? That it will be complete no matter what, and now setting her master plan in motion? It definitely has that feel. I feel like maybe she just incidentally has allied with Shadiq as like a stronger ally to get her job done.
I actually have maybe 5 different thoughts related to this, all in my THETA'S thoughts section. And unfortunately, I would just straight up respond to it here. Unfortunately, I think they're spread out across multiple things. So I think I'll just wait.
Prospera is everywhere.
I think I'll just wait and address that in the THETA'S thoughts.
I do know, I think last time I started off with the question, is Prospero the type to just stab people in the back? I'm not sure we've seen that yet. And the answer now is, yeah, totally.
Well, I think...
She don't care.
Just to allude to what is going on in my THETA'S thoughts area, I don't think Prosper is playing 5D chess. I think Prospero is playing multi-dimensional chess. I think she's gone beyond what the normal bad guy you think is doing thing.
At the same time, like, I could also just describe her actions as being incredibly direct to her objective.
No, I'm
That's
even more than that. In my THETA'S thoughts, I'm going to go on about how she's being completely indirect and direct at the same time. That
oh boy.
I'm going to blame her for things you may not have thought she was be blamed for.
There we go. She's responsible for the school lunch. So, Log A Long says, well, at least you beat the naivete out of Yor this episode, at least. Oh no. And now we all know Ariel can override anything with permit. Since last episode, we know everything runs using permit. I hated Noria this episode. So angry and angsty and does nothing. I hope Suletta doesn't take her new understanding and go with it. It's just as bad as her original catchphrase. Can't wait to see what Quiet Zero is. Is it similar to Code Zero's thing?
Again, I said this a while back, and I think it might still hold true. I think Quiet Zero might be Norette. I think we got a 24th Ward situation playing out.
Yeah, we got the body in the machine. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, you remember that Belmora literally says, there's a piece of Quiet Zero there. So I was like, okay. Yeah, no, my biggest takeaway from that comment was Noria so angry, don't like her. It's like, what? She's lost her childhood friend. She hates Spacians for a good reason. Like, they're literally like the Gestapo in the streets. Corporate Gestapo.
Right. She has been bottling up her grief and has a easy, clear target in Elin 5, the most hateable individual in the universe to go off against. Yeah, no, that just makes sense, honestly.
Oh no, I mean, of all the episodes to not like Doria in, like the one she's just blindly stabbing at Elin with a pencil. I mean, that maybe. This is the one where she actually like lets her emotions out, and we have explanation and connection. This was the most, I mean, maybe other than like the school tour scenes and everything. This is the most sympathetic Noria has ever been, and it's the episode that you hate her for.
She's getting very much needed characterization and motive, which will make her an even more important character. I think it's good. I liked it. But hey, she's definitely going to go ahead and bring some of that anger against Suletta, so that's going to keep rolling. Up next, we have Wolf Saints, who says, all pilots have permanent link because one of the things they say before they launch the mobile suits for the duels is permanent link satisfactory.
See, this is something I've argued with in the comments for a while. Or not even in the comments. I think maybe once in the comments and then once on the Gundam Discord. I'm not sure that they do. They do say that, by the way. I did go back to that while we watch episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
But if everything is has permit in it, right? Then maybe permit link in that just means, hey, we've got a connection to the mobile suits. We can tell them if they're damaged or not. Permit link satisfactory. My argument there is that we've never seen Ghoul flash red lines or anything, right?
I think that's the clear distinction of if the humans have permit link.
Right, well, that's what the comment's about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, I'm agreeing with you here.
Right. Well, it just threw me off. It's like, yeah, that's what we're talking about, Griff. I'm confused now.
Hi, I just got here. What's going on?
But yeah, no, I mean, like, I understand the concept is that maybe they don't flash red if they're not interacting with a thing that connects to human permit link. But then that would mean that everyone should flash red all the time, right? Like, hey, I'm gonna scan myself onto the trolley so the trolley knows I'm here. It just seems like everyone would be flashing red at any given point of the day as they interact.
The future, which is one for you?
As they interact with permit link stuff, I think, based on information both from Venatus Hearts and this, that only people that have been operated on by with arm technology have permit link in that way that we're referring to.
Right. Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. I think the permanent link satisfactory is literally just the machines. And we have, of course, our last comment here for right now, which is Mari with a smiley face. Man, Gould really loves to wear open hole t-shirts and hoodies then. Also, who would have thought that Shadiq's plan and involvement was exposed by a kid? Based on the opening where the Dara Blade and Michelis are facing against each other. We might have a battle against Ghoul and Shadiq. I have this wild prediction. What if Ghoul, Avery, and Jetterhouse team up with Earth House to save Sarius and Nika? Now that Ghoul knows that Shadiq is involved with DOF. Now that Earth House knows Nika was a part of the DOF. If they can connect the dots that Sarius and Nika is being held captive in the Grassley House, so why not team up? Battling against Earth/Jeturk versus Grassley House. Choo Choo has encountered a hungry Tanuki stealing food from the fridge. Oh yeah. I had to be reminded of the goofiest Suletta picture we have.
I don't think Nika's being held. I think she's hiding.
No, Nika is being forced to stay. Nika is not allowed to
In the
leave.
same statements, they say that they're also saying, like, for your protection.
I think that's double-edged.
Is it double-edged? She literally is a Donna Fold member, which means if she gets captured, she's literally going to get... You remember they're torturing people on the streets?
Right, they're playing the kind of, like, abusive, like, nobody else is your friend except us who are kidnapping you.
Right, but typically the form of abuse that you're using is a psychological thing. They're also telling her the truth. Because we've seen that Mjorn has been told that the people that they're capturing on Earth to find, the Donna Fold people, are being tortured. So literally they are hiding her for her own good.
Yeah, the perspective Nika has, last that she knows, and that the rest of Grassley House is working with is if you go back to Earth House, they will not accept you and be your friends. But we are also seeing in the show, like even literally last episode, no, they would totally just bring her back.
No, that's not the point. That's not what I'm saying, Griff. I'm saying literally not, oh, your friends won't accept you. It's, hey, the government's going to take you, torture you for information. You may not be alive at the end of this. That's what they're keeping her safe from, not your friends won't like you. That is a simplification of what's going on.
So I think we could go ahead and like edit Mari's like thesis for an episode right here, where it's they decide to go and rescue Sarius in order to get proof against Grassley House, and then find Nika while they're there, and have to suddenly whisk her away and then hide her later.
I'd have more comments, but it's also something in my THETA'S thoughts section.
That's totally fair. Also, more people need to wear open shirts. I'm going to go ahead and do that next time. It's just going to be an open jacket, bare chest, and we're going to get canceled off of YouTube. So, we now have a segment of the show called Theta Thoughts, where Theta, I'm going to ask you, what are your thoughts?
Well, first, before we do that, let's get into somebody else's thoughts. So, we have a second milk comparison. You might remember we had a milk one before about Mjorn and the tea, and one was with milk and one was without milk. Well, now we have another milk comparison given by somebody else.
All right, let's check out Food Symbolism, by Lunar Sus. So, people pointed out that last episode, Suletta was pretty much given a rebirth, starting a new life. She was pushed out from a body, tethered to an object, and crying her lungs out, etc. This week's episode continues the rebirth theme by having Suletta sleeping all day, doing nothing like a baby. She also got up when she is hungry, and guess what food she got to eat and feel better? Goat milk. Okay, is that actually a soup dish made from goat milk, but still goat milk, which is traditionally considered to be a good substitute for breast milk if you can't breastfeed the child? And it was given to her by adopted family, replacing the void left after her mother abandoning her. At the end, Suletta gained new insights and understanding about the world and her place in it. She's growing up, guys. The show with its symbolism, man, it certainly has, like, layers, like onions or ogres.
Thoughts?
Oh, it is so absolutely correct and on the nose, is what it is. It is, I did not even think about, like, this level of symbolism directly, just because it was also the literal things happening at the same time. But that That is just good artistry, is what it is.
I compared it before, I think, to like epic rap battles of history, right? Where they take two literal things and then they figure out the words to rap them to make them mean a diss. But then when you explore the meanings of the words, you find out that they have like a third meaning and a fourth meaning and a fifth meaning. That the rabbit hole just keeps going.
Yeah, it definitely takes skill to like just package everything together so well like that, and honestly, just amazing use of visual medium, and also subtle enough that I completely missed it because I'm a dummy.
Well, I think this was, if among the visual metaphors, this one has to have been more obvious than the Mjorn tea milk situation.
Right, that was immensely subtle.
I think that was a bit of a stretch, actually. So, I mean,
Yeah, that's fair.
if Mjorn comes back from the Earth situation to meet with that guy again, and they both have milk in their tea, fair enough, you got me. But I need a payoff for that one to be fully realized.
We're just gonna get like a milk explosion at the end of a season, and it's just gonna be like, what does that mean? They destroyed the milk tank. Let's see. Do we go to thoughts or do we go to this other image you got
Let's
here?
go with the other image. Why don't you explain what you're seeing on there?
All right, this is the Mobile Suit Development Council, and it is a image graph here. I hope you're putting this up on screen so people
It
can
is.
follow me. Good. So let's see. So we have the Space Assembly League, which is the Spacian government, which secretly reinstated funding to Ox Earth, which was legally defunct because of it was supporting the Venatus group, which was liquidated by Cathedra, which was controlled by the Benneret group, which also connects to the Dawn of Fold, and as we saw last time, was also just making more Gundams and not caring. There's three groups that are collaborating here: Jeturk, Shinsei, and Gundam. We know that. And then Grassley and Peel are now also working together. We got a couple lines indicating who
Supposedly.
has Gundams.
I mean, on this chart they are, but I have
Yeah.
data thoughts to go with that later.
Okay, so is this like a fan-made, like, trying to explain what's happening kind of thing?
Yeah, it's showing the interconnections of every organization that we know is in play.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, all I can look at it now is on my tiny little display. I've read it before, so I know what's going on. That's why I'm leaving it to you to point out the most important things that you can spot on there.
Yeah, so who exactly is supplying Donnafold illegally?
You can
Is it
follow the red lines.
I guess it's the reinstated Ox Earth, which is the Space Assembly League, which specifically is also uncovering the mystery of Donnafold having Gundams. Is that right?
I'm sorry, say that last sentence again?
The Space Assembly League has given Donnafold Gundams and is also investigating how they got Gundams.
No, Donnafold. Space Assembly League has given Donnafold nothing.
Right, but it reinstated Ox Earth, which then produced Gundams, which somehow got to Peel Technologies, got to Donnafold, and
No,
Shinsei.
I think read the line from between Oxearth and Peel. What does that say?
Ox Earth and Peel. That is somehow got Gundam tech.
Right, didn't say that they gave it to them. It just says somehow got it.
Right, I think that blue line there is literally just Balmora, which makes sense, and obviously Shinsei having Gundams and then distributing it to Gundam and Jeturk is just Prospera.
Yeah.
So there we go. That at least makes those things clear.
Like I said, I can't read any of it because it's too tiny on my screen, but I remember. Oh, one, I remember the show, and two, I read this in depth the moment I found it.
Mm-hmm. So I guess the question is, who's in control of Ox Earth right now? Where is it, and why are they making Gundams and handing it over to Dawn of Fold if they were reinstated by the Space Assembly League? What is going on that front is the interesting question.
I have a number of thoughts.
Ruined their plans.
I have a number of thoughts, but I think they're better handled in my THETA'S thought section, only specifically because I wrote them when I was of more clear head. So I don't want to just go off the cuff right now and then find out I thought better later.
Then in that case, Theta, let's go ahead and check it out. What are your thoughts?
I guess I'll just leave that up on the screen for anyone who wants to read it while watching the video. Alright, first up here. Let me figure out where this ends. Prospera knows all the players in the game. 2 episodes ago, when Shadiq invited her to talk at Grassley House, he offered her a deal on Gundam development, but she shot back with the implication that he didn't retrieve the Gundams from the terrorist event, despite how important they would be to him, with the implication that it would tie him to what had happened, which is why he was cursing her at the end of the episode. She clearly also knew Faye was a Space Assembly League agent. As the start of the episode, her assistant was warning her that the League may have sniffed them out, and she already had a plan to take Faye out. Now, one could assume that he was there to take Balmora in, but it seems questionable that he'd be down to shoot anyone around her without provocation, and he states he knows who she's been talking to.
Yeah, that all checks out. She is against the Space Assembly League here, which is investigating the use of Gundams, which seems to be actually probably entirely orchestrated by her.
Well,
So is it possible she's entirely set Shadiq up from the beginning as well? All the way from childhood at the school to now.
Well, I have a different thought about that, but that comes later. I wrote
All right,
these
what do you
down
got
kind
next?
of in chronological order. Do you think the laughing, happy child in the opening with Prospera is Eri or Suletta?
That's Eri.
So you're saying that Prospera never loved Suletta. Got it. That's
Let's come
almost
back to
sounded like
that.
you were about to break into Electronica.
Griffith drops the beat.
As per the last time when I spotted a single line in one episode and it turned out to be a major plot point 11 episodes later, I am stating unequivocally now that the random line of an outbreak on a front in the first 2 episodes will have something to do with the Biological Protection Act mentioned in the last episode. Something is going to happen to tie those 2 world-building events together. I guess it's
The
not a
monkey
thought.
box is getting out of hand there, right?
Well, no, it wasn't a monkey box. It was like a monkey cancer that was somehow contagious.
Monkey cancer. There
I
you
don't
go.
remember what it exactly was because it's been 16 episodes now, and there's like a season break in between that. But
They have not in direct text mentioned it as a thing any character is actually considering.
they have a whole Biological Protection Act that they've enacted. But I
It's
can't
all
remember what the
background, yeah.
disease is, but it says specifically monkey in the name. And it has some, I can't remember what it does anymore. I had a whole breakdown of it in a very early, like one of the original Theta Thoughts.
I feel like it's not going to pay off very well. Like, it's literally going to be added into the end of, like, a list of reasons why people are doing stuff. It's like, yeah, we gotta do it. We gotta, like, do it because of the Spacians attacking, because we need our freedom, and because monkey cancer is coming for us.
So you're saying that nobody is going to commit a biological terrorist attack?
I don't feel like that's where anything's been going.
So you're saying the fact that everybody apparently has permitted them is not an attackable vector via some sort of biological agent?
That would be very funny.
Maybe,
But also, you'd be
maybe the
making it for a
way,
population of less than 100.
maybe the way that we defeat the whole, joining everyone together and this whole permit thing that Quiet Zero is supposed to do is by releasing a biological virus that devours permit in human bodies.
So we're going Ghost in the Shell on it. It's like, we're going to go ahead and
Actually, I was thinking Rusty
manufacture a
Nabisco.
different cure.
Rusty Nabisco is the backstory. Anyway, wherever Queen Harbor is, I believe I've stated before, I thought it was in the Middle East.
Yeah.
It's a multilingual area. Based on the signs, they expect traffic that speaks Greek, Arabic, Spanish, French, and English, as well as others that I couldn't make out.
It is a spaceport.
It's funny, that's literally my next point, so I'll just go right into that.
Yeah. I think that does give you good evidence for probably the Middle East. So, yeah, there you go.
Despite Quinn Harbor being the site of a spaceport, it's still a war zone. Historically, ports tend to be the most prosperous locations in a region given the trade that passes through them. And given how difficult space landings seem to be in this setting, I'm going to segue out real quick. We saw them, they literally just shoot the transports at a location. There's not like anything that ties it to it. They're not riding a space elevator. They're
Yeah.
literally aiming and shooting. One would think spaceports would be equally as profitable in area. So does that make Quinn Harbor one of those vacation spots where the airport is a gated area and a tour bus drives you out to the hotel that is also a gated area against the people that actually live there?
100%. I think the very text of it is that the corporations are exploiting that area and everyone else is poor and has nothing. I don't think anyone rich lives there, though.
The High Council is, well, I don't know. There's the doctor and that lady that stands next to him that never says a goddamn word are both dressed like they got money, is all I'm saying.
Fair, fair, fair.
The High Council is planning to forcibly suppress the Benneret Group, just like the Benneret Group did to Walk's Earth. Faye seems to be playing the sorriest role in this mirror to history, where he objected to the use of force, so does she.
So you think this is just Prospera just trying to set up things in reverse for funsies, or
I
a
didn't mention
metaphor?
Prospera at all. I said the High Council.
Right. I don't think I have like any thoughts to expand on that one, unfortunately.
I will say now, this is going to show up in further Theta Thoughts. Prosper and the High Council are two different things that are acting against one another.
By the High Council, you mean the Benneret group, right?
No. Let me reread this because apparently you didn't pick it up.
Okay, who is the
The
High
High
Council?
Council is planning to forcibly suppress the Benneret Group. That
Who
that
is the High Council?
the leadership of the Space Assembly League.
Okay, good. That's what I wanted to know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The
I
first
could
half of the
only otherwise think it
sentence.
was like the Earth people. I'm like, hey, wait a second, how are they going to do that?
That's what I was saying. The first half of the sentence was literally, in your interpretation, the Benneret Group is trying to suppress the Benneret Group. So,
Mhm. All right. So you got more thoughts?
yes, I just told you. Look, I will tell you when I'm done because this is a long thing.
Just here for the ride.
Yeah, well, mostly this is me with the thoughts, and I need you to weigh back upon them. So, be
Right.
be more interactive than a ride. I guess is my thought there.
Woo! Wow! Woo!
Who told them we'd be here? A comment said about the protesters gathered around Mjorn's meeting. Since Prospera knows where the old Ox Earth Gundam silo is, it seems obvious that she must have had a hand in leaking the information in order to make her diversion all the more authentic later. Though it does seem questionable, given that Mjorn notes, with some confidence, that the protesters have no weapons, and that any monitoring equipment in the area, and surely of the future, would be able to tell that the shot aimed at Prospera came from one of their own security forces. If not the fact that something blew up in a cargo container, flew up in the air, and emitted a ton of permit particles all over the place.
Right. A post investigation will probably reveal the truth. But I mean, like, the whole point of a false flag is that you can get people to react now to it and avoid thinking too hard about it.
I think you're focusing on the back half of my statement more than the front half, where I blame Prospera for the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think that part makes perfect sense. Prospera setting her own trap for the future to use for her distraction.
Right, which leads me, it comes back from the comment that we responded to, where I
Mhm.
indicated to you that my comments indicate that Prospero is playing an even deeper game. That she leaked the site of Mjorn's meeting so that she could have the protesters show up to then fire at her. Because she
And
needed
thus
people there to know what was happening.
and thus is the entire reason she like started trying to conspire with Bjorn to get her trust specifically to push her to go down there to be her distraction and fall person.
Given the location of the Oxearth Gundam storage area in Quinn Harbor, the one that Donna Fold has been using, and the fact that she got Mjorn to go to Earth by showing her the recording of events going on in the news about Quinn Harbor, is it possible that she's been organizing events on Earth so that there would be a riot in Quinn Harbor just so that Mjorn would be convinced to go in the first place? Is Prospera playing multidimensional chess?
Gee, she sure is going to Earth a whole lot, huh? Oh, she has so much business on Earth, doesn't she? I
Well,
wonder what she's doing on Earth.
to be fair, she's been business on Earth since Suletta was like 3.
I see no reason she couldn't set this up ahead of time.
Right, right. I mean, at that point, it means that she's been plotting this specific, or like, when we typically say someone's been plotting revenge for like the last 20 years, it's typically, oh, I want revenge, how do I get to it? The indication here is that she's been plotting revenge for the last 14 years with an actionable plan.
Prospera is definitely a woman who knows how to form a plan and follow through. I think we've covered that so far. That she can stick to it for 14 years? Yeah, no, I believe that.
In the meeting with Bjorn, it is talked about all the people abducted by the Benner group while searching for leads to Plant Quisha attack, and they accuse the group of acting outside the law. I have to wonder if that includes the events of the episode where Ghoul escaped custody. As you recall, Bennett forces stepped in instead of letting Dominicus, the legal authority in the area, from doing the job.
I think very much, yeah. It is a callback specifically to that as an example of the things that were happening. So, more than just like the one little group was attacked by the Benner group, they did it a lot more.
I should also mention, I didn't write it there, at the end of the episode in one of the news things, it indicates that Benner Group is setting up roadblocks to Quinn Harbor, not Dominicus. So yet again,
yeah, again taking actions in their own hand.
Obviously, when they go to storm Grassley House to try and find Sarius, they're going to come across a storage room filled with a certain set of 3 students Grassley has also been hiding. Even if they don't find Sarius, that is a lot of evidence against them all in one place.
Yeah, Noria, Elin 5, and Nika all just sitting together, hanging out.
Yeah, as I was countering you before, it's more than a we can't be friends scenario. That's literally witnesses to crimes. They're literally the evidence needed to take down Shadiq right there, even if they don't find Sarius.
They are, in fact, an objective now.
A kid on the street talking about wanting to get into a Grassley Academy. Do you think that's one of Grassley Earth holdings that Shadiq was having sold?
I don't think he sold the school, no. I think he was mostly selling weapons, if I recall.
No, he was selling all of the Earth businesses, or Earth located business holdings that they had.
It would make sense, is all I'm going to say. I'm not sure it's directly a relevant thing they'll touch back upon, though.
All right. That was only the first half. I'm just going to stop every time I have a question mark so you can... Also, Kaneji literally says it's a place to re-educate kids. He even says their other 5 pilots are from there, indicating the harem that's surrounding Shadiq. You think that they've been indoctrinated from childhood, and for some reason Shadiq was the first to break the psyops done to him.
I'm not sure it's that deep. I believe re-educate is probably more propagandizing than like brainwashing. That's my personal belief there. In which case, of course, Shadiq still being angry after being propagandized makes total sense. It doesn't require much more than just remembering anything that happened to him.
I mean, enough propaganda is basically brainwashing anyway.
Yeah. We could go ahead and talk about colonialization and cultural genocide of things like the Canadian schools where you shoved Indians in Indian children in order to just whiteify them or something like that.
I think
It
whitewash
reeks
is
of like
typically the
that
word you
kind of
use.
thing. at its worst case. Say that again?
I said I think whitewash is typically the word you use. You whitewash people.
Yeah, I know. I'm bad with words today.
What
But
do
yeah,
you
no,
think the chances are that the kid himself was a plant?
0.
I
I
argue
think he just
otherwise.
happened to be there. This is just pure
Let me
coincidence that they
wait.
took.
Let me. You've said that bit. I think it's enough for me to complete the next sentence because this is
Go
literally
for
the
it.
multiplayer. It seems highly unlikely that a kid Ghoul knew from one incident would somehow walk cap down through protesters and security to bump right into the one of the two most protected people in the area. Then he just happens to spill information no one else anywhere has ever said to a person in authority, despite the fact that the Fae subplot is currently happening in showing us that Sal has undercover agents as well. If he is I'm sorry. Respond to that first, I guess, before I move on.
Who knows he exists?
Donna Fold.
I suppose, but like he's not an agent. He's a kid to be protected.
Lean back towards. Also, I guess Sal also knows because remember he has that the wristband that says he's like a refugee or something in the protected
Yeah.
area. So anybody who has any access to registration or I don't know permit links, Prospera.
I so much doubt it. I incredibly doubt that Prospera, while in space, knew of a kid who was in a recent attack and then moved that kid to a specific location to interact with people as she was going down to Earth with them.
I mean,
There's no way.
you're giving it the voice of incredulity, but at the same time, you think it's more likely that this kid wandered from somewhere else on the earth to this location and somehow managed to poke his way through both a sea of protesters, lines of protection to the two most important people to the Bennett group right now, who have bodyguards surrounding them. And this one specific kid was able just to get through all of that.
It is likelier to be a coincidence.
I think it's more likely to be orchestrated.
Hey, they mentioned that there's a lot of refugees there. That they were refugees. They moved there to be safe after the attack. It makes sense.
Look, man, jet fuel does not burn steel beams.
It's the lizard people, I'm telling you, they put the kid there.
Anyway, yeah, this was one of my, obviously the second half of this part, not the second half, the next sentence is not going to be something you're going to weigh in on, because if he is a plant, then for who and what goal? Obviously, I've stated mine that I think Prosper is behind this. I think she is planned for 14 years, and at 14 years, you can plan for anything. Look, you know, what's the one condition that Batman needs to be successful?
Prep time.
She's had 14 fucking years of it. What could Batman accomplish with 14 years of prep time?
I think the only final thing I have to say on the matter is I think it is against her own goals to point at specifically the tools she's about to use to start her war to get her revenge.
I have an argument that actually counters that, but it's a later Theta thought.
Yeah.
I think actually 2 Theta thoughts from now.
Yeah. Okay.
My next one is kind of, I guess maybe jokey, but maybe not. With Ghoul about to launch into space to head back to the school, do you think there is a Bennett shuttle out there that still has Vim's old explosive still on board? Is Ghoul in danger of never making it back to school?
I think that's actually on one of Mjorn's shuttles, probably.
No, remember Bjorn bought her own shuttle that Faye was piloting. She bought it when
so nobody
she
has
was...
Delling shuttles particularly, though.
God, where did she buy it? She wasn't Planet Grisha, was it? No, she got it when she went to the Bennett group front. When she went and confronted her father about, being a hypocrite. She got her own shuttle back, and that's the one she bought. Well,
I was about to say, oh no, that was the shuttle that got bombed.
Remember, he never set off the explosive. At the same time, though, what shuttles would have been at the Bennett group front, if not the one Delling took to get there, which was the one that had a bomb on it.
The most absolutely hilarious thing to ever happen would be Ghoul like coming to some like agreement with Mjorn, getting closer and closer, and then goes, "All right, well, I'll see you." She takes a random shuttle, says, "Oh, this belonged to my father. I'm gonna take that and arrive in my father's shuttle." Ghoul then goes to his own father's desk, pulls out a detonator, and goes, "Huh, I wonder what this goes to." Click.
I thought you were going to go with the irony of Ghoul killing his father and then being killed by his father later.
Oh, that would also be good. That's
An infinity loop of fratricide.
Jeturk House is cursed. That's what it is. That's all it is.
Oh
Jeturk House
man!
is cursed.
Imagine if that happened though, and the last thing that we saw of Laudna was him, like, the metaphor getting out of my brother's shadow.
Gosh, this is
What if
uh
Laudna has been so supportive of Ghoul this whole time? Because he then goes back to the desk, pulls out the detonator. Time to get out of my brother's shadow.
this is a ticking time bomb under the table now. There's going to be nothing but tension. For a season and a half, there's just a bomb that nobody's ever found, never diffused. It's just still out there, and it's going to happen
It's
at just the
literally,
weirdest time.
it's literally Chekhov's bomb. It's literally Chekhov's bomb. We got shown a bomb in episode 1 that never got exploded. We have to blow it up by the end of the show.
Okay.
All right. When the Defense Force tank gets taken over, the text beneath Control Lockout says, "Control has been overridden due to effects of Datastorm space, error code 569, indicating that this is a known event that can happen, and not only are machines programmed to display this, there's a known error code associated with it."
That actually just makes perfect sense to me from a computer science standpoint. Somebody realized that like there's a problem with this happens, this is an exploit in the code or whatever, we haven't patched it, we don't have a solution, because it's like a physical phenomena thing happening. We just have to identify that it's happening, throw up the error, and tell them to shut down the machine.
It just
And
occurs to
that's
me
all you
that
got.
Prospera's going to take over everything. Everything's going to say error code 569. And somewhere is a tech support guy just, okay, alright, if we just
Have you tried
control
unplugging your
alt
tank?
F4 this. Alright, I think this is the one that's the argument against what you're saying about Prospera fighting against her own goals.
Sure.
If they crush the Earthians with that Gundam, more people might end up supporting Mjorn, Elin says to Shadiq. Then Elin claims to know how everything was going to play out later on after Prospera unleashes Ariel to an angry Shadiq who is leaving the meeting. If they find... Oh, that's secondary. I'll let you respond to this first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is a good point. Those were technically Shadiq's Gundams, and he's unhappy that they're gone. That Prospera has set him up to also be a point of conflict and just throw him under the bus. Maybe that does make some sense.
Well, no. The first... Okay, I think I had a different intent in what you're reading in here.
Okay.
When we were talking about the image from before, showing the connection between the houses and everything that's going on, and you were saying how Peel and Grassley were connected, and I was saying maybe not. Well, this is that indication there that Elin is saying that if they crush the Earthians without a Gundam, more people might end up supporting Mjorn. Now, Prospera backstabbing Mjorn seems like Prospera doing what she did seems like backstabbing Mjorn. But you have to consider what Mjorn wants is not the same as what Prospera wants. Mjorn wants unity on Earth. Prospera wants Mjorn to be the president. Now, if the Betterer group gives two shits about what happens on Earth, they'll see Mjorn laid the hammer down on terrorists, and like, we can back that woman. So Prospera backstabbing Mjorn is for Prospera's interests for Mjorn.
to elevate Mjorn and lower down Grassley House on the rankings.
Right, if that's what Elon says, he knew what would happen, and then Shadiq gets super mad, indicating that Peel Technologies might then back Mjorn at this point.
I'm gonna have to take like an hour break, load up 5D chess with multiversal time travel, and just like use that until my brain expands. That's what I need here. I can't keep up with Prospera.
Well, this is again why I was saying before everything you were arguing about. No, Prospera wouldn't fight against her own interests. Prospera's interests and what our characters want are not the same. And Prospera is very good, as we've seen, at manipulating the situation to make you lose personally, but win in the overall. Mjorn fucking hates herself right now because she thinks she caused this. Kind of she did, but
we're right back at Prospera as the reverse psychiatrist. She's going to make you feel terrible about everything.
Make you feel terrible about winning, right? We need to go down there and show the Earthians that we're a good group, and then I'll get like votes in the election. Well, Elon is saying, no, if you want votes in the election, she needs to fucking destroy those people. Mjorn feels terrible because she failed in her goals, but Prospera may have just made her win the election. So, that's why I'm saying that Prospera doing all this evil, wicked shit is literally to her goals, and it's making her succeed. Because she needs Mjorn in charge for Quiet Zero.
I think probably the big thing is we don't know the very specifics of Prospera's goals. We know she wants to activate Quiet Zero, and that's about it.
Well,
maybe kill Delling personally. I don't know.
I've got 2 points left, and the very last one actually involves one, better understanding the last few scenes of that episode. It's the one where I said I was very confused about and needed to rewatch. And I think also indicates more towards Prospera's goals might be. But first, I have one other one. Noria's Gundam just got destroyed, right after her confessing to not wanting to die. We now have 3 Gundam pilots at the school with no Gundams. Fract is still there, but if Elon 5 is hiding from Peel Tech, it's clearly not his to freely use.
Yeah.
I feel like I had more written here at one point.
No, I mean, like, that's just a salient point to keep in mind. We got a bunch of Gundam pilots who are currently sidelined. When are they going to get a new one?
Well, I mean, Fract is still there, and we know Schwartz is still there.
Yeah.
Schwartz has never been seen in use. Everyone, of course, obviously wants Ghoul to pilot it. We don't know if Ghoul has permit link, and it seems unlikely that he does, even though everyone is 100% sure that he does. And, I mean, it would
Prospera approaches Ghoul. Do you want to become the most powerful duelist?
It would feel narratively satisfying to see Ghoul get into a Gundam, but at the same time, I do not know that's to his character anymore.
Correct.
Right? He's a PTSD-ridden guy who just wants to do good now. He seems more like I'm going to be the businessman to change the business from the inside than he is the, I won 28 duels in a row. I don't need to do this anymore.
Alright, what's your next thought?
You looked like you were about to say something.
Sorry. You gotta warm back up there.
No, it's my throat's closing up. The confusing bit I had trouble following during the reaction. The storage area was full of Oxearth pre-production Lifrith models, the same as the 2 other units at the Venatus Institute along the pre-aerial.
Mm-hmm.
In Venatus Heart, we see the same rundown of destruction that happens to the Venatus Institute front also happens to the Oxearth HQ on Earth. Apparently survivors of Oxearth, which was sort of a parent company funding the Venatus Institute, infiltrated SAL in order to enact their own revenge against the Benner Group. So basically Marvel's Hydra infiltrating S.H.I.E.L.D. I mean, I don't know if you watched...
It's an apt metaphor, I guess.
Yeah, I didn't know if you would play, because I didn't know if you watched Marvel.
Good enough.
I am still left questioning Prospera's motives in destroying the Gundam hangar, as she claims they are trampling on Gun's ideals, despite the fact that she's attacking the group that funded Gun's ideals, as previously stated. I guess that is really the point that trips me up. She claims they are trying to interfere with Ares' future. How? Is Prosper referring to the Neo-Ox Earth trying to shut down the Benner group, which would then threaten Quiet Zero?
I think like the most obvious one is that they are creating weapons of war, which is not exactly what she imagines. And what she's imagining is clearly a super science bomb of some kind that will change things.
I would argue that because the pre-production models that they were making at the Venatus Institute before they got shut down were literally laden with homing explosives. So they were making weapons themselves. She was part of the crew making weapons. I think my
they're
last
explosive mines for defense, you see.
no, they were literally like Mega Man weapons. Anyway, I think my last point is probably the one that I'll stand on, is that they're tainting Gun's ideals in that. Well, I don't know. I'm gonna back off the Gun's ideals thing because it still doesn't make any sense to me.
Gun's ideals is to go to space.
No, not really. I still think Cardo Naboo is like a cult leader. I think the part that she stands against, like she is former Venatus Institute, which was funded by Oxearth, but she stands against the Hydra Oxearth, or Neo Oxearth as I called it, because Neo Oxearth stands against the Benner group, and the Benner group is where Quiet Zero is, and she needs Quiet Zero. So
Right,
in her
Quiet
revenge
Zero
plot, in her revenge plot against the Benner group, she needs the Benner group. So Ox Earth's revenge against the Benner group, a completely separate revenge plot, stands in her way of getting revenge against the Benner group.
It foils my plans, therefore it is against the ideals of the people I'm avenging. Yeah, that could work as like a motivation thing.
I don't think the word ideals works in any of these situations.
Probably.
Well, I mean, because it represents their goals for the future, or the things that they hold dear, which has nothing to do with the plot. I think the way that we keep using the word ideal is separate to the use of the word ideal she's using, in that we're using it in the word of form like plot. Their plot gets in my way, not their ideal gets in my way.
Right. Okay.
It's also kind of funny, though. We got two different groups acting in revenge against the Benneret group, and now one of them just fought the other one because
we've been seeing that from episode 1 with Jeter trying to bomb Delling. Everyone is getting in each other's way. That's the whole point, I think.
Right. I was confused for a second because Vim, that's assuming you meant, Vim isn't trying to get revenge. Vim just wants to get power.
Right. But I mean, like, the theming of everybody stepping on each other's toes from opposite angles.
Right. But the plot from season 1 to, I don't know, part way into season 2 has been, let's position ourselves to be in charge of the Benneret group. Now, we have the outside formation of, these are all the people that want to kill the Benneret group, and now they're stepping on each other's toes because they've all seems to have made 14-year plans, and they didn't account for each other because all of them decided to be covert operatives in their revenge plans.
So, is that the last thing I thought you got?
Yeah, I said that.
Okay, cool. Just making clear. So we've gone through, dissecting the entire episode, go through everybody's motivations. Do you want to hear about what happened last time? Do we really need a summary after all that? What do you think?
I think we should, only because sometimes they interject information that even we didn't consider. Like, I always throw all this shit out there, right? And then they say, like, 2 lines in the breakdown, and it's like, where did they get that from?
Let's go for a last-minute surprise, then. Last episode was not the best way. Abandoned by her family, Suletta has fallen into a depression, much to Earth's house's concern. In the end, however, they manage to get her to open up while Martin comes clean about reporting Nika and is forgiven. On Earth, Mior negotiates a pause to the riots until the election is over, while Ghoul is reunited with a boy who he recognizes from his time as a Dawn of Old prisoner, who accidentally reveals Shadik's connection to them, prompting him to return to Astasia to collect evidence. However, Prospera then uses Ariel to hack Earthian weapons into firing at Spacians who promptly retaliate, causing negotiations to break down as the area turns into a war zone, which he uses as a distraction to destroy a secret Gundam factory run by the Space Assembly League, who were planning on forcefully suppressing the Bennett group. Elsewhere, Belmora cooperates with the League agents, who are trying to stop their superiors from starting a war, and barely escape with them from Prospera's aid. Watching a broadcast of the violence, Suletta realizes that Eric pushed her away to protect her, while Mjorn surveys the battlefield and blames herself for the situation.
I guess that's one other takeaway that wasn't I didn't bring up,
Yeah.
though I thought about writing down, is that the Earthian delegation seemed to believe that whoever would win the presidential race would be determined in 10 days.
Okay, yeah, so we have a time scale, things are moving, and I'd say by the end of this episode we figure out who's president, right?
I don't know. Do you think 10 days will pass in one episode?
Yeah, I do. So, are you ready? Well, now that you're ready, before we get started, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and comment down below to feed that algorithm. On top of all that, if you want more shows like this, unfiltered, uncensored, and uncut, as well as some early access stuff, you can check it out over on the Patreon. It's just $5 a month, but no pressure. It's also for the channel, just a little bit extra.
Yeah, I had to figure that was Noria.
She's a little upset that her home and school is burning. I can imagine she's a little upset.
No, that's not the same area. They evacuated the area, remember? And Shadikin forces should be... Remember, they're flying out here because they assembled all their group in suits.
Yup.
Wait, now Shadik is with the Space Assembly League too? I'm confused. Which side is fighting which side?
Ghoul's coming for you.
Well, no, Shadik is coming for Ghoul. You remember at the end of last episode, Shadik was saying, Mjorn, Ghoul has tainted you, or some shit like that. I guess he's blaming Ghoul for pushing Mjorn into this situation where she had to be horrified at the events in front of her.
It is simultaneously drama and also political goals and ambitions mixed into one at the same time.
But still, Shadik says, contact the Space Assembly League, tell them we're moving Sarius, which means the Space Assembly League knows all the things that Ghoul is about to go and try and prove.
I guess that would explain why they are against Prospera, then.
God, there's just so much to try and parse together in the course of a 1.5 minute...
another web.
No, I mean in the course of a 1.5 minute opening. It just breaks apart what we had just discussed about who was on what side. Like, instantly proven wrong in a one-sentence blurb.
Oh, I love this show.
Although, I guess if Peel Technologies does turn its back on Grassley to join the Mjorn side of things, that would leave Shadik with at least one last powerful ally left.
Yeah, one last thing to tap.
誰が操縦しているんですか？画像情報だとガンビットが周辺の機体を制御しているように見えるけど、エアリアルのガンビットはそれ自体に。知らないよ。僕らも驚いてるんだ。
I thought they were using the Haru as like Jafar's cane from the left.
みんなと和解できたって。質問に答えてください。
Scare him with the red lights. Blink him again.
Weren't you a medical company? Question mark.
会社のモビルスーツが大暴れしたんだ。無理もないさ。見なければ対応できませんから。社長に任せましょう。もう知りません。リリッケが切れてる。
Ah, the No Man's Sky approach.
真面目に授業出るか。あいつみたいに。
パイロットの生命維持に関して、宇宙開発時代の初期はその意識は非常に低かったことは否めない。人類の宇宙進出はかなり請求かつ強引であったというのが歴史家たちの見解で、その過程で
So you can send anonymous messages.
今日の講義、そこじゃない。出席しといて話聞いてないとか。何しに来たのあんた。できることこれしかないから。今日やったとこランブルリング。あんたがいなかったらラウダ先輩死んでたかもしれないから。そしたら私どうなってたかわかんないから。ラウダさんのこと好きなんですか？そういうとこだよ。あんたのムカつくとこ。
Even when half there, Sula just gets right to the point.
I think I just get very confused because I'm so not used to seeing her with a serious face.
モビルスーツを学園の外に。それに会社にあったあれはなん。
パーメット識別コード検出。数は5。グラスレー所属のモビルスーツ。カテドラルの部隊が学園にどのようなご用件で。
I mean, they have authority to be anywhere.
ちょっと学園に立ち入らせてもらいたいんですよ。でしたらこちらで引き受けます。要件をどうぞ。
どうしてシャリクが。
Shadiq just stalling for time.
シャディク。サリウス代表をどこに隠した？気取られる前に確保しろと言われなかったのか。お前がそんなだから身寄りだ。
I think that Darabalde can beat. Was it Michaelis? I think that's his suit's name.
I think, yeah, that's what it showed.
Yeah, why would you get into a fight with school regulation program on?
Well, Cole didn't want to kill anyone. Shadiq, however, is out to kill.
Secured him. Wait, you put the brakes on his wheelchair?
He's very grumpy about it.
Oh no, maybe tell them to get to a safe place, man. I haven't used a bathroom in a week.
Alright, good. They all realized they gotta run. I was worried.
Well, now I'm just confused by the suits being identified as Thorn on Earth. Gain 1.
Oh, tragic.
You were captured when they died, though. How do you know about that? Well, I guess Grassy House, never mind.
Oh no!
Yeah, we're gonna lose her.
Literally built her up for this.
Like I said, should have told the kids to get somewhere safe.
Elon
Oh.
5 Redemption? Oh, villain chords.
Yeah, no Ariel here to shut her down like before.
I don't think those demis are gonna do much.
オープンキャンパスのまさか乗れ
I mean, it's possible, but they're probably all set up.
For training.
Yeah. There goes Earth House.
足の手に取れ地上は危ない力
Almost lost her main
Inches
character.
away.
何してんのあんた死にた
Jesus, this turned on a dime, didn't it?
It really did. Oh my gosh.
最悪ラウダ先輩がデートすっぽかすからこんな目にそうだよね
Do what? He did what? Why would he do that?
許さないし好きなとこ連れてってもらうご飯もランチとディナー両方
Don't hit me with
Oh no,
other
she's gonna
shit.
die too.
Don't tell me with other shit that I also care about at this moment.
生きてたら何したい私は絶対もう一度あの人に
Oh, don't fucking kill her. I've always loved the Ghoul Gang. He's part of the Ghoul Gang.
Oh, Jeteric House is just cursed. It's cursed.
魔女狩り部隊が今さら
Come on, Kenji. You've been one of the best in the past.
もう勘弁なんだけどな
Oh, he's doing the tough guy holding his arm thing.
I'm hoping he's not having a heart attack due to his immense size and regular gravity.
No, no, he's just doing the tough guy move.
そうだお前の父が俺たちにデリング暗殺を持ちかけそれを利用した内輪での派閥争い謀略それしか頭にないつくづく浅い男だったよあの男は
Oh, piss him off, why don't you?
その父親を殺したのはお前だろ
Lorna didn't know.
父さんを
Time to go get that explosive detonator that you knew you had.
Oh, it's so good. Like the fighting is kind of
Oh, dead
basic
kid.
animation right
Dead
now,
kid. Oh, there goes the tomatoes.
but they're making everything so important.
I
All
know.
of it matters.
And they're including other shit I care about in the more important shit.
7番ゲート違います近くにいる生徒は離れて
They're getting my side characters up in my main action.
どこ行ったんだよ
フェルシーこっちは学園仕様なんだ出過ぎるなよ
はい私がやんなくちゃ
Well, how about you turn that part off?
フェルシールロ出ます
Who's Rolo belong to? Liquid House?
してこんな
Jetter. She's one of the Jetter girls.
Okay, okay.
Her
she's
and the
other
one that
Got it,
Suleta's
got it.
with. And then there's a guy that's not shown up since season 1.
Yeah, I recognize the first one. I just didn't recognize the next two.
ダメだよ今出たらずっとここで隠れてろってのかよチュチュに死んでほしくないんだよまあこのままじゃ全員バッドエンド確定っしょそんなだから
Wow, what a negative Nancy.
うちらの貸してあげる
Oh, never mind.
It's not like I'm ever gonna fucking use it, right?
ブリオン社の新型
Look, I'm just a student council girl. What do you want me to do?
なんですけど
うちらは乗れないしそっちのポンポン
I guess that makes sense then. But why are you in the dueling council?
ほらさっさと調整して
あ調整っつっても父のは全部あいつが
ニコいるじゃん、うってつけのやつ。みんな
Just in time.
ニカ、急いでこいつを見てほしい。僕はもう一度君と話がしたいんだ。おらーい、おらーい。
God, the music is.
Oh, it's killing it. It's just making the entire, like, last 10 minutes amazing.
Are we the last 10 minutes? I don't want this to end.
許すわけねえだろ。
Pull up the helmets in case to do it.
全部ちゃんと聞かせろよ。じゃなきゃ許すも何もねえだろう。やばい、このままじゃ。
Choo Choo's got the Nika dip now. Just built different.
手伝え。こいつらぶっ潰すぞ。アーシアンが好きんじゃねえ。
学生風情が
サビーナ、行って。シャディクを助けて。美味しいところは譲ってあげる。すまない。
I guess that leaves the Schwartz for Suletta to find. Or the Frack, but I'm still assuming it's Schwartz.
Yeah, I think either of those work for her.
Although Suletta only knows about the Frack. Oh, the Wheeling 5 is still.
その俺を生んだのは誰だ。戦争シェアリングで全てを奪い他者を蹴落とす生き方を強いてきたのはお前たちだ。力がなければ理不尽な平和は崩せない。
Oh, there we go, Gundam.
だから今度はお前たちスペーシアンから力を奪う。
Gundam Villa Declaration, let's go.
罪を肯定する。
サリウス代表を船に乗せた。あと5分時間を稼いでくれれば議会連合との合流ポイントに
Gosh, it's the tiniest, silliest ship ever. I
No,
love
they're
it.
all the same.
I know.
We've sent tons of them. No, because they're traveling from one little transport to a different, bigger transport.
Yeah.
それでもけじめはつけさせる。シャレーク。真っ向勝負か。そういうところ昔から嫌いだった。
Yeah, Ghoul is straightforward and Shaddiq is a conniving bastard.
Oh, it's just perfect fight meaning. Oh.
グエルジェターク、お前にはわからない。
Ah, it's my favorite girl in the Shaddiq group too.
Instantly dunked.
何も分かっていないんだな。奪うだけじゃ手に入らない。
Oh man, it's the whole ranking of kings thing too, by the way. This is the way a king fights. Oh, please don't let that be Lada. This is gonna be uncomfortable.
It's gotta be mega uncomfortable. Let's go.
Okay, no, it's Dominicus. Never mind.
だが死ぬことも認めん。ベネリットグループは秩序維持のため学園の同胞を犠牲にした。アーシアンの犠牲だけでは動かなかった議会連合もこれで重い腰を上げるだろう。愚かな息子よ。
Poor Sari is just having to watch all this too.
I mean, at some level, you gotta be a little bit proud, though, right? I mean, it's all horrible and everything, but who else but your own son could do this?
逃げるだけのあなたは
At least one.
目をそらしてそんなの死んでるのと同じ。ソフィーは生きてた。あなたとは違う。
当たり前だ。君もソフィーじゃない。スケッチにあった風景があれが君だろ。不安で死ぬことに怯えて殴りかくことでしか逃げられなくて。
お前に何が。
僕と来い。生
I'm
き
down
方が
for
わ
it.
からないなら一緒に探してやる。怖いなら隣にいてやる。逃げるのが嫌なら僕をあの絵の場所に連れて行け。その先のことなんて後でいい。生きていいんだって。証明させろよ。
Oh my gosh.
仲間割れか？
I think the thing to remember is that Elin 5 was a person before he turned into Elin.
恋だの連れてけだのバカなのあなた。
ノレア。
後で教えて。あなたの本当の名前。
I saw that coming with the lock-on shit, but
Oh, yeah.
So this is where Elin dies too, I assume. You don't take that sitting down. Well, I guess you do if you're sitting down. But not even in a fract.
I know, right? That elevates my Elin 5 pilot score at the very least, but damn, everything else about him too.
God, sympathetic for Elin 5. How the hell did that happen? Come on!
Oh,
I forgot what the title of the episode was. I was hoping for good things.
oh gosh, all stations damage report. What's happening anymore?
And Lauden is destroyed. God, in double ways. He skipped out on a day chance. And then she's dead. And Ghoul killed your dad. Worst terrorist attack on the school ever. Everyone's going home now. Well, clearly not everyone.
Just great horrors of war moment.
Yeah, this is the moment.
夢じゃねえんだよな。現実だよ。全部。
The goat survived, thank God.
スレッタ先輩。よかった。無事だったんだな。スレッタ、すみません。手伝ってもらっていいですか？え？中に取り残された人がいます。きっとまだたくさん。でもまだ助かる人いるかもしれませんから。
やろう、みんな。動けるモビルクラフト見つけてく
Because
れ。
Gundams are supposed to save people.
必要ですよね。
手分けして助けようぜ。
My God.
That is a very cute moment to end on at the very least, of like actually just immediately re-engaging their solidarity.
But I had no way of knowing this was the episode. I mean, I forgot what the name of the episode was. That probably would have clued me in.
Gosh, my heart, everything. Every single fight had like character to character meaning, just so perfectly executed. We had Shadiq literally become the Gundam villain right there. That was the perfect Gundam speech.
Yeah, but we already knew he was secondary villain at best.
Fair, but I mean, I want him to put on the helmet now.
Well, the problem is he's been arrested by the people that report to the Space Assembly League. So,
And now here's the ending song that just like, yeah, I gotta keep hurting you to rebuild you. It's like, you sure?
what I'm saying is he got arrested by the people that report to the Space Assembly League. The very people that he said at the very beginning of the episode he had connections to.
Right.
So,
He's
odds
not
are,
done for.
yeah, odds are he'll still be out and about. Let's see what the name of the next episode is. Everyone dies, I assume. Alright, I appreciate that. It gives a... Oh, damn it. And at
Just
least...
literally had to attack the heart one more time, huh?
And at least gives the sensation of a rolling ball, right? Like I rolled a ball downhill, and now it's rolling up the other side of the hill. What can we do now?
This really was cashing in nearly all the momentum of the show, right? The only thing that didn't get cashed in right then and there was literally Prospera.
Yeah, because she's operating on her 14-year plan. But, yeah, no, I mean, everything played out like you'd expect, and then a sudden twist, right? So, it's like,
gosh.
all those people that were shipping Noria and Elin 5, and now, well, it's happening.
It's canon.
Unfortunately, they gave us that lock-on thing right when she's in the middle of her speech. And
The moment she was pushing away and talking, I'm like, she is dead now.
well, that's what I said. We get the lock-on thing, then it goes back to her middle speech, where she gets one or two more words out, and then of course she's dead. And for double effect, let me show you her little hairband thing burning.
Just has to be absolutely as traumatizing as possible for Elin 5. He's been cloistered up, just trying to survive, find someone that he actually completely vibes with, not just like on personality, because they're both just sarcastic assholes, but also because of what they are, that they're sent to die. And it's just like, no, I need someone, literally anyone who has a connection to me. It's Elin 4 all over again with Suletta, except the opposite party dies this time.
Well, as I mentioned before, literally just last episode, she said, I don't want to die.
And yet she's in a rush to go out there.
Well, I don't even mean that. I just mean one episode ago she said, I don't want to die, and now she's dead. So clearly, having a desire not to die does not save you from it.
Oh, not even slightly.
And then Laudna and Felsi? Felsi's fucking dead now? And I mean, Felsi's dead after giving the whole, as you called it, the I'm gonna get married soon speech or whatever. The whole
Jetric house is cursed.
And it's not cursed. Only 2 people in Jetric House have died.
Like, in the moment, as a character of action, she understands exactly what she's doing by saying that, as, like, giving herself personal motivation to, like, determine herself to survive, to put aside, like, the terrible, horrible things happening, and just focus on what's happening directly in front of her. Because that's a mood in a disaster, like, 100%. Focus on surviving first. She knows what she's doing. She's trying to encourage Suletta to do it, too, because she wants to save other people too, but dramatically she entirely digs her own grave. Oh dear, oh it hurts.
Imagine the on-scene Laudna scenes that we got. Because, we got one where he's, like, taking the thing out of his ear because he's hearing that conversation. The scenes that we're getting is that, okay, I wonder what my brother's up to right now, puts the thing in his ear. And that's when you, Ghoul Jetric, killed your father, Vimchector. Oh my god! Takes the thing out of here. And he's like surviving in the situation for a bit. And he's like, okay, I gotta know what's going on. Picks up his notepad for the school that says Felsi's been killed. I gotta stop looking at shit.
Laudna, more than any individual character, is literally living in a soap opera. His entire life is based around sudden revelations that completely destroy his perception of the world, and he is not getting a single damn break.
Well, Laudna has
Poor Laudna.
Laudna is now at the point where I would say his life has been going worse than Ghoul's.
I'm laughing so hard I'm in tears.
Well, I mean, Laudna has literally gone from always in my brother's shadow to, hey, I can't even stand up to what my brother was doing, to the point where Ghoul shows back up and I pass out, to the point that all of Jeturk House is literally saying, man, with that Laudna, what a shit. I wish Ghoul had been here the whole time. And then the chance he has at relief, having a girlfriend, and he stands her up for one more reason or another. And then clearly he was thinking about doing it anyway, because then he looks up the Felsi thing, and finds out she's dead anyway. And then finding out that the brother you've been looking up to this whole time is actually the reason why your dad died, and the reason you passed out of relief is actually fuck that guy anyway.
You know the reason she got stood up on the date? It's because he's there with the Cathedra people. He has a mission right there. He's trying to support his brother. He has important business that he doesn't want other people getting hurt for. And then everyone dies. Jeturk House is cursed. That's all there is to it.
I mean, it's no more cursed than any of the other houses. They've only had 2 deaths. I think their problem is that they've also had, like, the Happy Days thing happen.
Oh,
where
God.
their main crew used to be 4 people.
Mhm.
And sure, one of those 4 main people died. The other guy just vanished. He's the brother guy who just stopped showing up in Happy Days. We wrote him off.
Gosh. What the hell is going to happen once we hit season 3? What does everyone coalesce into after this, where every single person is broken? All loyalties are seemingly completely destroyed. The only people who are, like, intact is, like, Cathedra, because they don't care. They're just there to kill.
Well, there's no concept that there is a season 3.
What, do you think it's gonna end in 4 episodes?
I mean, I'm telling you. There's no concept that there's a season 3. There's no announcements, nothing. All we know is we have a season 2, and this is it.
There's 2 buckets here. See, only season 2, or they will get renewed for a season 3. If it has to end in 4 episodes, there's gonna be some goddamn light speed drifting going on here to get people into place. I'm gonna tell you that.
Well, this isn't a renewal situation. They have a script, and they go with it. Now, if they got renewed, I think that would be a situation of we have to write a story to go with it. They're set up to go as far as they are. Kind of like how when we talk about Gundam 00, and they were just going to go with season 1, and then they had to bring people back.
Yeah. But I don't see how they could completely wrap up literally everything in 4 episodes. That's my problem.
Because
it feels
time
like there's
is
an entirely different arc.
You're adjusting time on a factor of how you live. As we've stated before, you thought 10 days could have happened in this episode. This was not even 1 day. So
I guess to lean back on something less me. This is Act 2. This is the ending of Act 2 here, where we have the heroes at their lowest moment possible for the second damn time, where everyone now has to rally together, rise up, and finally finish the story. Is the entirety of Act 2... is the entirety of Act 3 going to be literally just 4 episodes, where we have like a 12-act Act 1, and 8 part Act 2, and 4 parts Act 3?
I'm not saying there's no possibility of a season 3. I'm just saying that this was supposed to be the second core of season 1 originally, and they decided to make it a season 2. And typically, these shows, as far as we've experienced them so far, only get 2 seasons. So, I'm saying the reasonable expectation based on past experiences is to prepare for 4 more episodes at the most, and hope for the best. I mean, I'm not saying that I don't want a season 3. I want.
Oh yeah, no, I'm about to say, like, I need a season 3 injected into my veins. I will die without a season 3. I need more of this show.
I could go for 2 more seasons. I'm just saying that. Well, because every other show of this type that we've watched tends to be 25 episodes. So this has been like 2 12 episode seasons. So I could go for another 2 seasons at the very least. So I'm just saying get your expectations in a reasonable setting, and don't expect a season 3 when we may not get one.
I will never be reasonable. That's my promise here.
I'm aware. I'm just saying.
So speaking of reasonable, are there any more parts of the episode you want to go over? Anything that sticks out in your mind that we haven't covered?
I mean, there was the whole first part of the episode. I mean, my expectations for this episode was that Ghoul was going to get to the school, he'd go to Jeturk House, he'd organize all the students, and then we'd have literally school war, house v house, as Jeturk House storms Grassley House.
And it all dissolves immediately.
Yeah, and we got so much more than that, but so much worse than that, because in my mind, it was just, like, fist fights at the most, right? I didn't expect these kids to have guns or anything, so it wouldn't be, like, hardcore. It'd be like the PG version of, like, a home invasion, right? It'd be, I'm gonna punch you at the worst, because we know they do lifting in their gyms. But,
right.
Yeah, this went to the terrorist attack times 10. Like, they had less stuff than their first terrorist attack on the school, and did infinitely more damage.
Oh, yeah. The funny thing is, like, Noria is almost entirely responsible for that damage, too. And then she dies.
Yep.
At one hand, we're sympathizing with literally every character that died because of her actions, and then on the other hand, we switch back immediately and go, it's like, oh, poor Noria.
Well, I mean, it's the benefit of this show over the others, is that every character is sympathetic in their own way. I mean, I was calling Shadika a bastard, but at the same point, you know where Shadika's coming from. You know why he's doing this, specifically because of where he comes from. Everything makes sense if you think about a character for half a second. Versus like, say, Gundam 00, where I just hate some of the characters and I can't get into their heads.
Every character here has a great personality, and when we got introduced to them, we love them. And each of them has a great sense of, like, why they're doing this. Like you said, we understand their motives, we sympathize with these characters, even those who are, like, against the other ones that, like, we're more specifically rooting for.
I mean, even attempted rapist Elin 5, right? I said halfway through, near the end of the episode, sympathizing with Elin 5. What the fuck happened?
The previous episode set us up to start, like, humanizing Elin more, where he's, like, exposing himself more. He's not just being the manipulative bastard that he's been since the beginning. He's, like, showing other people what his emotions are and being vulnerable. And then this episode is entirely a complete turn on everything he's done since he showed up, where he's just pulling at every heartstring possible. He's just like, I just want to be human. I just want us to live. Let's just get out of here. And he can't even have that.
If I had to make a guess of a character that would come back wearing a mask that's not Prospera, it's either going to be Elin, or it's going to be Laudna.
I would have said Shaddiq in there too, but good guesses.
Well, I think Shaddiq
Laudna's not a pilot, though, is he? Not really?
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
One, remember, he was in the Rumble Ring, where he almost died. That keeps getting brought up.
He's maybe not a good one.
Well, we don't know.
Compared to everyone else.
In Laudna's defense, we never saw him fighting in the ring, really. He fought a terrorist with fully operable weapon systems in his held-back weapon system state. Also, we didn't see him in a lot of fights, because if you recall, early in Season 1, Ghoul stole his mobile suit to have a duel with when Ghoul's suit was broken. So, Laudna didn't have a chance to fight. Ghoul broke his chance to fight.
He's just sidelined into... Oh, poor Laudna. Again, poor Laudna.
But
he needs a hug.
Having lost everything and then realizing that your brother that you supported this whole time killed your father, which sent you in such a shock before that you passed out, he might just have a whole heel turn going on. He puts on a mask, gets in the fract, maybe? I don't know. And just, like, goes out for murder.
Laudna could literally go any direction at this point. It would make perfect sense. literally anything he does next.
I mean, he also
is going to be
listened to
amazing.
he listened to all of his schoolmates, all of his housemates bad mouthing him from the background too.
Mhm.
He's got nothing but vengeance on the mind, I imagine.
And then of course the thing that always tears down ideas of vengeance against people you're close to is of course their sudden and untimely death. Nothing could make you feel more guilty than wishing for their death and then they also die.
And then the Darabalde was destroyed, which I guess implies that Ghoul is going to have a future in the Schwartz. Because otherwise, what else is he going to pilot if he has to get into a fight? Because apparently they're not pulling back on the Ghoul doesn't want to fight anymore thing. They're going full bore on the Jet Turk House doesn't have anyone else to fight for it except for Ghoul. Might as well let Ghoul do this thing.
I think like in terms also of just like pure piloting here for a moment, the duel between Ghoul and Shadiq literally is an absolute draw. But I think as Ghoul also said, his goal was never to kill Shadiq, it was to capture him. I think even though we have like the entire vibe of like pilot to pilot, they're perfectly even, I think Ghoul literally won.
Well, technically, I would guess it was never proven in the school since Shadiq had a long history of not going out to fight the duels.
Yeah.
But technically, Ghoul would have lost in that he's fighting 6 people. No, actually, one of them is doing a different thing. He's fighting 5 people total.
Yeah.
And it's not until Dominicus shows up that he does his thing. Because otherwise, he would have done his thing and then been surrounded by 4 other enemy people with no weapons to fight with. So it would have been a loss. Because we don't really get shown Dominicus taking out Shadiq's allies.
Yeah, I'm just hitting up a little bit of death battle in my brain of like who actually is the better pilot. Which, speaking of, we do actually have like the Elin 5 thing, where again, not even in the Faract, perfectly dodging lasers from a Gundam who is literally trying to kill as much as possible, and then gets directly into melee range and connects.
I mean, there's so much argument there about what's going on. 1, she's not in the right state of mind. 2, the first weapon she used was the shotgun on him when he was at long range, so clearly doing her best not to hit him. She's like trying to scare him away, it feels like. Like, here's my wide range weapon when you're the furthest away from me. Here's the single pinpoint weapon that even I can dodge. So it's just like, I don't think she was really trying. She was putting on a show to scare him off. And the fact that he didn't get scared off just allowed him to, talk his way in.
I think that's also a perfectly fair interpretation, too. I just want to give Elin 5 props.
There's also the fact that Michaelis, Shadiq's suit, is basically the same as the Darabalde without the, without as many bits.
Yeah.
But no, like I was saying in the moment, it's very much the Ranking of Kings thing. Episode 2, where, Boji has to get the shit beaten out of him.
Yeah.
Because this is the way a king fights. You have to take hits and give hits. So when Ghoul stops dodging, and that, lures Shadiq in, because, well, I've got you beat now. And he does the whole Goku versus Frieza thing. The Destructo Disc comes in from behind, destroys Shadiq.
Shadiq's entire dialogue is emotionally motivated. Like, he has his feelings for Bjorn, and he's blaming Ghoul, and then he's projecting them back on Ghoul, claiming that he's the one who's not thinking straight, that he's hot-headed, all he does is charge in, and he's acting on emotion. Because, Ghoul's also shouting, he's also a bit emotional. But provenly, in the way Ghoul acts and his plan and what he does, he demonstrates he's the one who was actually thinking the entire time, had a plan, and knew what to do, and wasn't entirely just going off on his feelings.
Well, Shadiq was trying to goad Ghoul into doing things, because, you don't act as clearly when you're angry. So that's why he was like, oh, you killed your father. but you wouldn't have done this if you hadn't killed your father. He's tweaking Ghoul every time he can. And then at the very end, he's like, this is what I hate about you. Because that Ghoul comes at his problems directly.
Yeah,
And
I think that moment
Shadiq-
is that demonstration right there. That he gave into, like, his emotional state, and that's why he failed. That's like my general perspective trying to break that down.
I mean, I think we're disagreeing on the little bits, but I think we're agreeing on the major things, so...
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm just going through interpretations. We've hit, like, that same scene 3 different ways now.
Sorry, I blinked for a second, and that orange thing on your bookshelf kind of melted with your hair. You had like a Ghoul thing going on.
Theta, I think you're starting to hallucinate.
No, just so much happened in this episode, and I know the moment we're done talking about it, I'm going to have another 14-paragraph Theta thoughts because I forgot to say things.
All I have to say is, it just keeps getting better. It just keeps getting better and better.
It's a great show. I mean, it's the best Gundam I think I've ever seen.
The only thing I can think of that would possibly utterly ruin it is we get like an Evangelion end, where we just get like, congratulations, Suletta, and...
Well, if they didn't expect to do a season 3, they might run out of budget. So
oh gosh,
that could lead us to a... I think it's hilarious because I was talking to the artist to do the overlay for one of the next shows, and I was describing something I wanted for the background, and I literally described it as, imagine a show that's running out of budget for the animators, and that's how they would do it.
Oh, there you go. Well, here's hoping that there's no way this show isn't like making massive bank on this. This
It's
is
making
so
more
good.
money than any other Gundams in history.
Hell yeah!
We had that on that chart before. That's why Gundam is beating out even One Piece and well, no, it's not beating out Dragon Ball Z, is it? Dragon Ball.
I don't know. I remember you showed us the chart. One Piece, Dragon Ball, Naruto are at the top because, of course.
No, Gundam's at the top.
Oh, they're amongst the top.
No, they're on the top. They are the top.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was more hilarious because I'm in a lot of channels that react specifically to One Piece. It's like, haha, your show sucks now. I got numbers to prove it. Gundam's better than One Piece. Always has been. It's older than One Piece, better than One Piece. And sometimes we even get breaks from our show when we don't want to.
Alright, before we start bad-mouthing One Piece too much, do we got any final words to say about this show?
Sarius is captured, so... I mean, Sarius is free, so there's that. So, I think I brought it up in my THETA'S thoughts section that once Sarius gets located and caught, that the election thing would be off, because Sarius is technically the president.
Or he gets elected. He's the hardliner who wanted to destroy them all in the first place. Is like, you know whose fault this is? Gundams.
Well, no, Sarius is supposed to be the acting president until Delling came back. So,
oh, yeah.
So now that he's back, the whole election thing should be off, which then fucks with Prospera's plans.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that plays out. Like, if they go, it's like, no, we started an election, we gotta finish it, or something.
Well, because I mean, to get the whole thing of now, there's a lot of people out there who now know about Quiet Zero, and we don't know if Sarius ever knew or not. Because I know I brought that up as an idea that maybe Sarius knew. But there's now a lot of people
for an entire month.
There's now a lot of people that can just freaking tell Sarius and ruin everything for Prospera. So the thought has to be out there now that Prospera might come back to eliminate Sarius somehow. Because otherwise, someone tells Sarius about Quiet Zero, Sarius heads to Planet Creature himself and just fucking shuts down Quiet Zero. And Prospera has to be on a path to try and stop that. Unless her assistant comes floating around a corner shooting a gun again. Sorry,
that should just be like a meme. Just like someone coming around the corner with the gun. That's
Sarius, I knew they'd get to you. Shoot. Because everything sounds like a BB gun in this show for some reason. All guns.
That's because they're probably doing magnetic firing. They do the same thing in, wouldn't you know it, Code Geass,
Oh, I thought you were going to say Expanse.
where everything sounds like a BB gun because they're all magnetic firing guns.
We really got to get to Turn 8 Gundam at some point. Not because it's a good show. I've actually only heard bad things about it. But, well, I mean, because it also came out, like 99 or something like that?
Yeah.
Which might not have been the best year for inclusivity. but
Oh no.
but it was also, I think it has the same writer as Witch from Mercury and Code Geass. So, it might be the original this. It's also, I think, the show that is the end timeline for a number of Gundam series. Like Universal Century and all that graph that I showed you, that had like 5 or 6 Gundam series that all converge on Turn A Gundam in like a distant future.
Yeah. So we'll add that one to the list then. I think for now, this has been Stone-Faced Reactions, everybody. I'm Griffin, that's Theta, and we'll catch you next time. See you around. Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stone-Faced Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?